What surprised you most about what's happened over the last 12 months, Robert?
Well, what surprises me is how desperate the United States is right now, because if the government spends $100, 60 of it is printed, 60 of it is fake money. So the US is now dumping money straight into the economy, whereas before it used to go through the banking system. Today it's going straight into the economy. And that means the United States is pretty desperate, but it creates a sugar high. Everybody's happy, America's rich and all this. That's what Zimbabwe did. And that's what Venezuela did. And that's what Germany did during the Weimar Republic. So history is repeating itself, except history proves we don't learn from history.
Yes, it's true. Robert, before we get on to the economy, if I'm not mistaken, real estate's your preferred investment vehicle, and that's what a lot of people watching this and listening to this podcast are interested in as well. Is that right? Is that what you enjoy investing in?
Well, I always say invest in your financial education. You have to invest in what you're interested in. So if you like shares, and study shares. If you like options, study options. But I like real estate for two reasons. Number one is debt. I can use all the debt I want to buy real estate. And the more debt I use, the less tax I pay. So, Donald Trump, and I know he's hated in many places, but he and I are good friends because we make millions of dollars and don't pay taxes legally. And people in Aussie do the same thing.
Yep.
It just depends upon your education and your proclivity, what you want to invest in. Most people should just stay in shares. Yeah, you should just stay in your supers.
So real estate is different in different countries. The underlying fundamentals are different in the US. The tax benefits are different. Are your concepts relevant to Australians? Should they be listening to you?
I've made millions in Aussie. They're the same. I own property in Bondi, Randwick, and Rushcutters Bay.
Lovely location. Clearly, you're a good investor. You know the best locations in Australia. Now, you've written many books. Let's summarize your investment philosophy for somebody who may be watching this, who hasn't had the opportunity so far to read them. What is the basis of your investment philosophy?
Well, I don't trust the government. And most of the Aussies I know don't trust your government either.
Well, it's become a very interesting time here with our various state governments. You're right. So your philosophy is to educate yourself, and I think that's one of the major things you've done for a long time. One of the concepts I learned I've got audiobooks, I've learned from them, I've enjoyed them, was the Cashflow quadrant. Maybe we could just quickly walk through this because it's important to understand where you fit in the game, isn't it?
Well, the quadrant is very simply 4 different people that make up the world of money. E stands for employee. S stands for self-employed or small business, like a doctor or a lawyer or a chip shop owner or a meat pie owner. And B stands for big business, but B really stands for a brand, like brand, and I stands for insider. So I always invest from the I quadrant as an insider into brands. And Warren Buffett invests in brands like Gillette, Coca-Cola, and things like that. Unfortunately, most people go to the E and the S side, and the taxes are highest for employees and small business. In Aussie, your self-employed pay about 60% in tax. Employees pay 40%.
I believe you're suggesting the world's biggest financial crash is coming. Is that right?
Correct.
Why do you think that's going to happen, Robert?
That's what Harry and I are coming to town to talk about. Well, Harry and I are on the same team as that. The United States is destroying the U.S. dollar. And in 1944, the U.S. dollar became the reserve currency of the world. So basically in 1944, the US government or the US Treasury promised the world the dollar would be backed by gold. And they broke that in 1971. So now they can print as much as they want. So America broke its promise to the world because they promised the US dollar would be as good as gold, but today it isn't. So I'll say it again. Today, as we speak, this is July 2021, every dollar printed or spent by the US government, 60% is fake. 60% are fake dollars. So it puts America into a bubble. Everybody feels happy. China ships to us, Aussie ships to us. everybody's happy as Larry, except they're drunk as skunks, on fake money.
So why do you think it's a bubble? How do you know for sure it's a bubble? People are happy. It's all going well.
Well, it's because in 2008, it bust. Was a thing called, I won't get into it, it's called a repo market.
Yep.
It's called the repurchase market. So there was a bubble in 2008, which led to the subprime real estate crash. So instead of fixing the problem, the United States, I'm not blaming Aussie, the United States just kept printing more money. So by 2016, it was going really, really high. And my friend Donald Trump printed even more. And now Biden is printing even more. And here we are in 2021. It is the biggest bubble ever blown in world history. So Harry Dent and I talk about that, but we also talk, how do you prepare yourself for what's going to come? I think that's the most important thing, because you and I are not going to stop it.
No.
But it's coming.
Can't it just deflate slowly, Robert? Does it really have to burst?
I mean, I wish it could, but I don't think so. I think we're on the eve of destruction. This has happened before in history, and it happens around every 80 years or something like that, and we're on it right now.
Well,
so
you've mentioned about a bubble before in your books, you've written about it in your seminars, you've talked about it. What's finally going to prick the bubble? What's going to make it burst this time round?
Well, I think was that saying, comes up slowly and then happens suddenly. My friend Jim Records, who's also been to Aussie, he says it's like this avalanche, and the snow keeps piling up. And it's going to take one snowflake. The trouble is we don't know which snowflake. And, when it comes down, it comes down. And it's going to come down so fast. So Harry and I are going to be talking about what you do to prepare for that last snowflake. Aussie is really a rich country. Unfortunately, you kind of copy the US and you're dependent upon China. But China and America may go to war pretty soon, over Taiwan. Yes. And that's the worst case scenario. So, I wouldn't be complacent. That's what I'm saying. Right now, it's not time to say, she'll be right,
You know all the Australian sayings, don't you, Robert? So what's going to happen to Australian house prices?
I don't know. That's really hard to tell. If they print excessively, which they might, you go to hyperinflation, then the prices will go up. But if it goes to a hyperdeflation, which is called a depression, will come down. So that's why the good thing about Harry and I, his solutions are different than my solutions.
Mm-hmm.
I think my solutions are more geared to Aussie. Harry and I get into we agree on what the problem is. We disagree on the solution. So that's why people should listen to Robert and Harry, and you can choose for yourself.